Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Tigers Baseball Podcast. I am your host, Chris Schulte. This pod, a day late, recorded on April 28th, 2025. That just means you have to listen to it in a hurry before you catch the next one. With that being said, the next one, I will tell you who my favorite is to win the Kentucky Derby because they'll have already won it, and I'll be right. The Tigers coming off of an 8-2 homestand. They're going on a 10-game road trip. They had their longest homestand of the year over the last week, over the last 10 days. Well, the last 11 days. And they will have their longest road trip of the year this next week. It's a 3-city, 10-game road trip. Houston, LA, and Colorado. I don't know why they didn't put Detroit at the Angels after the Dodgers. You'd think it would save them some wear and tear and travel, but you know what? I don't make the schedules, and I just think every team should do that. When you have the White Sox and the Cubs that you have to play still, play them both in the same week. When you have the Angels and the Dodgers, play them both in the same week. Rangers and Astros, play them both in the same week. That makes for a tough schedule in a sense because of the quality of competition in some instances. Mets, Yankees, again, I really feel like that's something that has to happen, but that's just me. That's my personal opinion. My opinion is just that of a fan, and it doesn't matter to those making the big decisions and making the big money, which is another thing that I do not do, is make big money. So with all that being said, let's get to it. Injury report real quick, a few updates. Parker Meadows is taking live BP down in Lakeland. He's hitting, I think he's hitting off of a tee, because the injury report says he could see hitters as soon as this week. My guess is that meant pitchers, so my guess is he's hitting off a machine. Matt Vierling was doing a lot of that when he had his rotator cuff injury. He is going to have a follow-up MRI today. It's probably already been done, and he will be evaluated after that MRI for the possibility of whether or not he's cleared to play games. Once he's cleared to play games, he'll be given a rehab assignment, and we will probably see him on the next homestand. It makes sense for them to do that, get him. If he gets evaluated and cleared today, he could start a rehab assignment tomorrow, get him 7-8 games in Toledo, and then when the Tigers start their homestand, possibly even 9, depending on how the Tigers homestand or how the Tigers schedule works out next week. They will be coming home from Colorado on Wednesday, so possibly, I don't know if they start a new series on Thursday or Friday, but if they start one on Friday, he can get 9 games in at Toledo and come up Friday morning and be activated as early as Friday afternoon of next week. I don't know that that's how they're going to do it, because he still needs to get into game shape. I don't know how long that takes. He says it doesn't take him that many at-bats. Usually for players, it takes them, you hear them say, between 40 and 50 at-bats to get ready for a season. So you never know. It could be as early as next Friday. It could be as late as who knows when. So there you go. Alex Cobb threw live batting practice over the last few days. Sawyer Gibson-Long has thrown live batting practice. Parker Meadows, as I said, was hitting off of a tee. It looks like he's doing a throwing program. Matt Vierling's throwing program, by the way, he's up to throwing at up to 150 feet. Bo Brisky and John Brevia are doing some throwing. Bo Brisky had a cortisone injection. There was 2 cortisone injections in his ankle, and he expects to be back by the end of this month. That's not going to happen because he went on the IL on April 18th, I believe, and So I don't see that happening anytime soon, but I figure he'll be back in the middle of May, as well as John Brevia. So that's going to be a thing to deal with there. Then you got to figure out what you're going to do with certain bullpen pieces. And one of those pieces is Kenta Maeda, who hasn't pitched well since the start of the season. He did okay in spring training, but he still gave up a lot of hits. Yesterday, he came in a mop-up role in the ninth, walked a batter, but got 3 outs after that, and ended up in a first and third situation with 2 outs, and got a strikeout to finish the game off as the Tigers swept the Orioles, and they did it in great fashion, sweeping a doubleheader on Saturday, and just absolutely dominating them yesterday. Tarek Skubal went 6, gave up no runs on 4 hits. Tarek Skubal in his last 4 starts, he didn't walk anybody, he struck out 11. Tarek Skubal in his last 4 starts. Now, his first 2 starts were a bit, you kind of started to wonder what was going on. Now, this is some decent competition. The Yankees, the Brewers, the Royals, and the Orioles. So over the last 4 starts, 1 walk, 24 innings, 19 hits, all of them singles. I'll state that again. All 19 hits singles. So 1 walk, 24 innings pitched, 19 hits, 1 hit batter, 2 runs, 30 strikeouts in 24 innings against the Yankees, team that doesn't strike out a lot, the Brewers, team that doesn't strike out a lot, the Royals, team that doesn't strike out a lot, and the Orioles. 1 walk and 30 strikeouts over his last 3 starts. Sorry, his last 4 starts. I think he's back to his Cy Young form. I think he had a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning of the year, and I think he's ready to take it to the next level, and I think he's starting to do that. Spencer Torkelson hit his 8th homer of the year on Saturday. This means he's already surpassed his season total from last year. I don't know how long he's going to continue things. He's got 24 RBIs in the last 28 games. Like I said, I really don't know how long he's going to continue this, but it's good to see him playing well and good to see him hitting well. And his defense has come up too. Now, the thing is the really good players, the Hall of Famers, and I'm not saying Torkelson's ever going to be considered for the Hall of Fame, but everybody is. After 5 years after they retire, they always get on the ballot at least once. Even Jim Whalewander got on the ballot for the Hall of Fame. But your Hall of Fame players, if they have a bad offensive day, they don't let it bother their defense. And that's one thing that Spencer Torkelson was doing last year, I think. He was okay defensively in 2023, and that was the year he hit 31 home runs. He's got 8 homers and 24 runs batted in this year, and his defense is a lot better than it was this time last year. I really feel like it is. So there you go. Just a little nugget there for you as far as that goes. Let's hope he can keep it up, because really, Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green are sort of plodding along right now. They really haven't gotten hot, and they need to. Another guy that needs to get hot, or he could face the minor leagues in a couple of weeks, is Colt Keith. Colt Keith is hitting under 200 for the year. He's walking a lot, which is good. And when he was playing on Saturday, he was actually starting to go the other way again. Which is something that's how you know he's trying to figure something out and starting to get things on track, is when he starts hitting the ball to left and left center field. but he's just not hitting, and his defense is suffering as well. Now, part of that is because he's been sort of caught between. He's been playing second base some because of Gleyber Torres' injury. He's been playing first base some. Now I think he's going to exclusively, because Torres is back and playing every day. Now I'm assuming he's going to probably start playing some more first base. So that's a good thing. By the way, one more note on the injury report. Jake Rogers is doing defensive drills and throwing a little bit, playing some catch and doing defensive drills. So he's expected to come back off of his oblique injury sometime in May as well. So those are some things that I wanted to point out. Now, Detroit goes on the road against Houston, the Angels, and Colorado. I expect them to come back home. So they're 5-7 on the road right now. My guess is they'll be right at 500 when they come home on the road. They'll be 11-11. I expect them to go 6-4 on the road trip. Houston's not playing well, but they're still good. LA was pretty hot at the beginning of the year. They've cooled off, and Colorado is Colorado. But Detroit never plays well in LA. Now, I said that, and last year Detroit swept LA in LA. So, that's something to think about. But they just don't play well in LA. And Houston is a good squad. So we'll see where that goes. I will be back on Sunday to talk to you about about LA and Houston. And from there, we will look ahead to Colorado next week. So with that, I want to encourage you to like and subscribe on YouTube. Speaking of subscribing, hello to Rick, my latest subscriber. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, sir. I do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and like and subscribe. You want to follow me on Twitter at Podcast Tigers on Twitter, at TB Podcast, at tweesecake.social on Mastodon. That's TWEESE cake.social. You can email the show, tigersbaseballpodcast@gmail.com. It's the world's longest email address, and I'm proud of that. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will talk to you next week. Go Tigers.